Hello and good morning everyone. Today inshallah we will continue our revision series. In this session we will try to solve some of the problems that we spoke about yesterday. I believe it's really very important for you, as I told you yesterday, is to go through all the propositions, starting from the addition, the multiplication by scalar, multiplication of matrices, the dimensions, the transposition, the inversion. All of this is really very important. Also, you will have to solve at least 2 or 3 problems on the inversion, how to get an inverse of a matrix, either by the cofactor method, as you know, or by using Gauss elimination method, which is really very important. And also, you will have to go through one of the problems at least of how to solve a system of equations once you have variables like alpha, beta, or something like this, and you need to find the values of alpha and beta, that will force this system to have a unique solution, no solution, or infinite number of solutions. I will try to give you some examples just to refresh your mind. Let's see this problem. This is one of the very nice problems that's mainly about the propositions. So he's asking you to find, for example, find matrix, okay, find matrix D. Start to find the matrix D. In the relation, and he's giving you A, anything, A, B, A, minus 1, D, and it is plus B, minus 1, A minus 1, 2 over 2 to the power of minus 1, and it is equal to 3, something like this. I need to find matrix D. How to go through something like this? All I have to do, and one of the major things to be able to solve such a problems is to identify where is he asking you, where is in your course he's asking you. If you give a good look for this problem, you will discover the following. Number 1, you have an inverse. So this part is talking about the inversion with a power. So he's talking about how to distribute an inversion. And that's one of the propositions in inversion. Okay, how to get D in one side, or to get the value of D, and to get rid of all of this. So the question is here, it's about multiplication properties and the inversion properties. And all of this is really very simple. As I told you, he will hunt, or we will hunt, the propositions. So you need to study them very well. Okay, I know that if I have A, B to the power of minus 1, it's gonna equal to B minus 1 times A minus 1. We already did this plenty of times, okay? Going through the elementary matrices, this was one major step in the problems that involve elementary matrices. So I would start, if I were in your shoe, I would start writing A minus 1 times B minus 1, and don't forget that's to the power of negative 1, that's to the power of negative 1. Also, I have 1 over 2 to the power of negative 1, which is 2. So now I've rewritten this part and distributed the power. I replaced their position and I've inserted the power. Also, before we continue, there is another remark. An inverse, for an inverse, you will regain the main shape of the matrix. So simply, this is 2A, B is equal to 3. And on the other side, you have an A, B, then A minus 1 times D. So all I have to do here, in order to isolate D in one side, is simply to multiply by A minus 1 from the left. What's going to be the gain if I multiply by A minus 1 from the left? If we multiply by A minus 1 from the left, I will have the following. Yes, you are right. A minus 1 times A. Then I will have B, A minus 1 times D plus 2A minus 1 times A times B equal to 3 times A minus 1. If you remark, we are multiplying A minus 1 from the left. So A minus 1 times 8 will remain. But once you multiply A minus 1 and they come to this guy, we already know from the probabilities of multiplication of a scalar by a matrix, I can replace the number and put it anywhere that I like. This is why I've moved A minus 1 to be here. And that's 2A minus 1 times AB. Same way like with 3, because you are multiplying the whole equation in A minus 1 from one side. So it will move for the 3 terms, as you can see. So simply, the result will be A minus 1 times A will be the unit matrix. The unit matrix, once you multiply by anything, it will disappear. Okay, or it will remain because it's the identity of multiplication. So simply, if we did this, we will have B, once more, A minus B minus 1 times D plus 2 just only B, which is equal to 3 A minus 1. Okay, I want to get rid of the B's also. So in a similar step, I would multiply the same equation, this equation, simply in B minus 1 with the same steps. So once you multiply, it will be multiplied in the 3 terms. Once you multiply, it's going to be A minus 1 times D plus just only 2, and it's going to equal to B, am I right? Minus 1 times A minus 1 times 3. Are you with me? Okay, the second step, I will need to remove A minus 1. And this is also going to be really very easy. Okay, how to do it? Then I will multiply the whole equation once more by the A matrix. So once you start multiplying by the A matrix, A times A minus 1, you will have just only D. This is what you are seeing. And then you will have a 2 times A, and it's equal to 3A times B times A, both of them minus 1. And once you reach this step, I can rewrite this equation on this form. D by itself is going to equal to a 3A. Yes?
مش A و A minus 1 هيشيلوا بعض تبقى identity.
No, but there is B minus 1 in the middle. And it's not commutative. Am I right? So, if A is here, your words is going to be correct. But we know that multiplication of matrices is not commutative. Am I right? So, it's going to be 3 of A times B minus 1, A minus 1, then minus 2A.
Okay.
And we are done. Yeah. Okay. So, as you can see, these are the main steps. Step number 1, as you can see, it's a simplification by multiplying by the inverse. So the whole problem is about multiplication by matrices and multiplication by inversion, and to see how the elements are cancelled. All you have to do is to take a good care about the steps of the solution and about how the multiplication process is being done. Okay, this is really very important. Any questions? It's really very simple. Okay, you can go through it step by step. Just write the main steps, and it's gonna be very simple. Okay. Let's take another problem, and one of the main problems, actually, it's really very simple. He will ask you to find an inversion. As I told you, the inverse is really very important part. And we already know how to get an inverse of a matrix, either by evaluating using the cofactor method or the Gauss elimination method. Both of them are really very accessible for anyone. Also, we know that the inverse is really very important because the idea behind solving any system of equations is to get the inverse of the coefficient matrix and multiply it by the result matrix. You will be able to get your solution easily. okay? So let's start by, he's asking you to find the inverse of a matrix, and this matrix is 2, 0, 1, for example, and you have -1, 3, and 2. This is 3, 1, and 4. So if the question is asking you to get the inverse of any matrix, it's okay. You can choose by yourself the suitable or the favorable method that you will recommend for getting the inverse. But once you start doing this process, you will have to decide by your own. Of course, it's completely different if I have a condition for you on solving or choosing the method. So I can say, solve or find the solution of this, the inverse of this matrix, using Gauss elimination. In this case, you can't use cofactor method. Or find the inverse of this matrix using cofactor. You can't solve by Gauss elimination. I will try to solve this problem for you by the two methods. If I want to find the inverse by the cofactor or the adjoint matrix, it will depend on the determinants. So the first step is to evaluate the value of the determinant of A. How to get a value of a determinant of A? This is very, very simple. I can use the plus method or Sarah's rule. Okay, I will start multiplying 2 times 3 times 4. So it's gonna come up to 24, I believe. So 22 times 3 is gonna be 6. 6 times 4 is gonna be 24. Then plus -1 plus 1, -1 times 1 times 1. So it's -1. Then plus 2 times 0 times 3, which is 0. Then I will do the same but with negative sign. -1 times 3 times 3, which is gonna be a 9. Minus 2 times 1 times 2, which is gonna be a 4. Then minus 0 times -1 times 4, which is 0. So now I will have -1 plus -9 is going to be -10, minus 4 is going to be -14. So it's sum up to 24 minus 14, which is going to equal to 10, and it doesn't equal to 0, which means it's a non-singular matrix. That means I can get its inverse. If I want to continue using the cofactor method, I would get the cofactors first, okay, or the minors, or the algebraic complements. Those are 3 terms for eliminating the row and column for each element. Then I will make a transpose to get the adjoint matrix. So I can do both of them. If I want to get the inverse directly, I can write the adjoint matrix. Look, I will write A11, then A12, and this is really very important, A13. If you remark, those are the elements of a row, but in a form of a column. So instead of writing them as a row, I wrote them as column, which means I am going to find the cofactors and do the transposition at once with the same step. Okay, similar manner, I will have A21, as you know, A22, A23. In this case, I'm going to get the adjoint matrix directly. And all of this is going to be equal to, equal to, equal to, equal to, equal to, equal to. And then I would recommend putting the sign rule. The sign rule, you will start with a positive, because the sum of the number of the row and the column is even. So the sign is positive. I can write zigzag way. So it's going to be a positive, then this guy will be negative, that guy will be positive, and also this guy will be negative, and that guy will be positive. This element will be negative, that one too, remark how I'm moving. This one too, the sum of those two elements are even, so it's going to be positive, then it is negative. Now I've wrote the sign rule. I will start extracting the elements of each one of them, or the cofactors of each one of them. So once you go to 1 and 1, I will eliminate the row and column. Multiplying 3 times 4, which is 12, minus 2, so the result will be 10. I will do the same with element 1 and 2. This is element 1 and 2, eliminating row and column. So the numbers are negative 1 times 4, which is negative 4, minus 6. So the result will be negative 10. But don't forget that you have a negative sign, so it's going to be a positive again. I will do it once more. I will go with Jana for 1, which is 1, 3, removing the row and column. So I will have negative 1 times 1, which is negative 1, minus 9. The result is negative 10. I will write it here, negative 10. Then I will go for the element 2 and 1. Where is the element 2 and 1? Second row, okay, second row, first column. Second row, first column. Eliminate these two guys. Then I will have 0, 1, 1, and 4. Evaluate directly the cofactor. So it's 0 times 4, which is 0, minus 1. So it's a negative 1. But don't forget that you have a negative sign. So it's going to be positive 1. Continue. I will go for 3, removing the row and column. 2 times 4 is 8, minus 3. So it's going to be a positive of 5. This is going to be positive 5. I will go for 2 and 3. Eliminating row and column. 2 times 1, which is 2, minus 0. So it's going to be a 2, but it has a negative sign. Same way like I will go for the element 3 and 1. Third row, first column. Eliminate the row and column. I will have 0 times 2, which is 0. Negative 3, minus 3. I will take this guy and go for the third row, first column. So it's going to be a negative over 3. Then 3, 2, third row, second column. 2 times 2, which is 4. Then minus of a negative 1, which is going to be positive 1. The sum is 5, yes? But the sign is negative, so it's going to come up to negative 5. I will go for the element 3 by 3. Eliminating row and column. 2 times 3, which is going to be a 6, minus 0. So it's done. Now I've evaluated the cofactors, and also adding the sign rule. Now I have the adjoint matrix. So simply A adjoint or adjoint matrix of A, I can write it also like this. Adjoint matrix of A is equal to, it's a matrix, 3 by 3, I'm really very close to the inverse, and I will write all these elements. So it's going to come up to 10, 10, negative 10, then I will have 1, 5, negative 2, then I will have negative 3, negative 5, and 6. All of us know that A minus 1 is equal to 1 over the value of the determinant of A times the adjoint matrix of A. So all I have to do is to divide all those elements on the value of your determinant, which is 10. So the A minus 1 is going to be really very simple. A minus 1, it's going to come up to start dividing each of these elements on the value of the determinant. Don't forget this guy. This is important. Look at it. A minus 1 is equal to 1 over determinant of A times adjoint matrix. Look at this law, it's important. Okay, so 10 divided by 10 is going to be 1. 1 and the negative 1. The second row will be, I believe, 0.1. Then it's going to be 0.5. I'm dividing on 10. Then minus 0.2. Then minus 0.3. I think minus 0.5. And finally 0.6. And that's your inverse. Okay. Hola. Okay. So this is how to get the inverse using which method? The cofactor method. I can solve this guy also by Gauss. How to solve it using Gauss? Do you remember? If I want to solve this problem using Gauss, I would go like this. I will write the matrix, which is simply 2, 0, 1, and negative 1, 3, and 2, then 3, 1, and 4. And I will write here 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, and that's a unit matrix. Now I can get, okay, if you like to take a photo for this solution by the cofactor, it's okay. If you wrote it, it's fine. Okay, I will have to just clean the whiteboard to erase those guys. Okay, this is done, okay?
Yes.
Okay, this is okay. How to get the inverse now? In order to get the inverse, all I have to do is to use the row operations or the elementary matrices in order to get, okay, in order to get a unit matrix instead of the main matrix. So what I mean is I will start using the row operation on this matrix or the elementary row operations, and the image will appear here, which is the inverse. So I will start with adjusting the pivots on the main diagonal. So I need to change this value to be positive 1. Try to think how to change it to be positive 1. I can do it in plenty of ways. I can multiply the second row negative 1 and replace them. Or I can simply, yes, you are correct, I can add the second row on the first row. If I added the second row on the first row, I will end up having positive 1. Let's do this idea. Okay? I'm thinking with you. There is no ideal solution. Okay? So negative 1 plus 2, the result will be 1. 3 plus 0, the result will be 2 plus 1, the result will be 0 plus 1, it's going to be 1. 1 plus 0 is going to be 1. 0 plus 0, the result will be. This is the new row. This is the new first row. I will use the pivot of the first row to force the elements beneath it to be zeros. So I can add the first row on the second row. If I did this addition, it will be 0. So let's do it together. 1 plus negative 1, the result will be 3 plus 3, the result will be 3 plus 2, the result will be 1 plus 0, the result will be 1 plus 1, the result will be 0 plus 0, the result will be 0. I've adjusted the second row. In a similar manner, I will try to force this positive 3 to be also 0. How to do it? Negative. Okay, yes. Negative 3 plus 3, the result is 0. Negative 3 times 3, it's going to be negative 9.
Negative 3 times 3, negative 9.
Plus 1, it's going to come up to negative 8. Negative 3 times 3, negative 9. Plus a 4, the result will be negative 5. Once more, negative 3 times 1, negative 3 plus 0, the result will be negative 3 times 1, negative 3 plus 0, so the result will be negative 3 times 0 plus 1, the result will be. Okay, I've adjusted the first column. I will go now for the second column. The second column, it is with 6. So try to think about any ideas, if possible, to add something from the third row to the second row. If there is no other solution, I will have to divide the second row on 6. Okay? So once more, it's 1 and negative 1 is equal to 0. 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, it's done. Let's divide on 6. So, it's gonna be a 0, then I will have 1, then I will have 5 over 6, then 1 over 6, then 2 over 6, which is 1/3, then 0 over 6 is 0, okay? Then I've changed the second row. I would use this guy to force the last row to be as a pivot, or to have a 0. So I will multiply 1 by negative 6, 1 by 8, and add it to negative 8. 8 and the negative 8, the result will be 0. This guy is going to be 0. Once you multiply by 8, it's going to be 8 times 5, which is 40 over 6. So I will have 40 over 6. Once you multiply by positive 8, you will add it on negative 5, which is simply negative 30 over 6. Are we right? So this guy is gonna be a 10 over 6. Are you with me?
لا مش فاهم.
تاني once more.
احنا عملنا ديفايد 6. ايه
Okay. احنا we divided 6 in order to get this guy is equal to 1. I will need to reach a reduced echelon form. The reduced echelon form states that beneath positive 1 I will have 0. So how to change the negative 8 to be 0? I will multiply the second row by positive 8. And the result will be added on this row. بص كده. 8 times 0, the result will be 0. Plus 0, the result is 0. Once more. 8 times 1, it's gonna be 8. Plus negative 8, the result will be 0. This is what I want. I want to change this 6 to be positive 1. That guy is equal to 0, and this element is equal to 0. So I'm starting this already.
طب ما اعملها على ثيرد رو على طول ليه بعملها؟
أعملها على إيه؟
على ثيرد على طول ليه بعملها على السكند وبعدين اد السكند ده؟
يعني إيه؟ مش فاهم. أنت قولي لي.
هي زي ما
أنا واقف هنا أهو.
divided 6.
أنا واقف هنا. ده ال 1. I need the element beneath 1 to be 0.
ماشي.
بس هو مش بزيرو. هو بكام أصلا؟
negative 8.
طيب أعمل إيه في البيفوت ده عشان لما أجي أجمعه على ده يبقى الريزلت بتساوي 0.
هو لازم لما اجمع ده على ده تبقى 0 يعني؟
أنا عايز الرقم ده بزيرو.
ماشي.
بس using ال 3 اوبريشنز اللي أنت عارفاهم. طيب إيه رأيك؟ أنت فكري قولي لي.
اوكي مش فهمت.
لا فكر إيه؟
فهمت انا عشان
إن هو مش القصد كمان مفيش حلول تانية. فاهمة؟ يبقى إذا أنا هنا مجبر. إيه بقى الإجبار اللي عندي؟ إن أنا to multiply second النيو second row ده في كام؟ 8 in specific. هضرب كل element في دول في 8 وأد على corresponding element in the third row عشان بس أخلي النيجاتيف 8 يبقى بكام؟ بزيرو. يلا نعملها بقى سوا 1 on 1. Multiplying by 8 is gonna be 8 plus negative 8 the result will be 0. ده اللي أنت عايزاه. بس as a consequence you also will multiply this element by 8. يبقى 8 times 5 is gonna be 40 over 6 اهو. صح؟ Then I will add it على مين؟ ما هو نيجاتيف 5 ده اللي هو نيجاتيف 30 over 6 ولا انا غلطان؟ في الحالة دي لما اعمل لهم addition هيدي لك 10 over كام؟ طب يلا بقى انت بقى كملي معايا. النمبر ده بكام؟ هو انا كنت بضرب في كام؟ يبقى ده 8 over 6 اهو ادي 8 over 6. هعمل له addition على مين؟ هو نيجاتيف 3 ده اصلا اقدر اكتبه ازاي بحيث ان الدينومينيتور ب 6 نيجاتيف 18 over 6 صح؟ لما اعمل لدول addition الاثنين دول لما اعمل لهم addition هيبقى الريزلت نيجاتيف 10 over كام؟ صح؟ Don't stop. I will multiply this guy بكام؟ 8. So the result will be 8 over كام؟ 3 صح؟ بعدين the result will be added على مين؟ بس أنا مش شايفها نيجاتيف 3. أنا شايفها نيجاتيف 9 over 3. Am I right؟ يوم دول لما أعمل لهم addition هيدوني نيجاتيف 1 over 3 يبقى الجاي الرقم النمبر اللي هنا نيجاتيف 1 over 3. Repeated for the last time. ال 8 will be multiplied by وال 0 will be added على حلو. I will repeat it once more بس مش بال 8 بقى. بصي مين النمبر التاني اللي انا عايزه يبقى 0؟ عايز يبقى 0. طب اعمله ازاي؟ انت قولي لي. ها؟ قول لي سيبك من الكلام لان انت قلت لي الصوره. طيب ده ال 1 انا عايز ال 3 يبقى بكام؟ طيب ازاي اخلي ال 3 دي تبقى بزيرو؟ يبقى ال 1 ده لازم يبقى multiplied by the same number with opposite sign يبقى by negative 3. Am I right؟ يلا اعمل multiplication. Negative 3 times 0 plus 1 negative 3 plus 3 the result will be Negative 3 times 5 it's gonna be صح؟ بعدين will be added على مين؟ مش شايفها 3 بصراحة. أنا شايفها 18 over 6 are we right؟ لما أعمل ده 18 ونيجاتيف 15 يديك 3 over 6. 3 over 6 which is half. صح؟ أقدر أكتبها 3 over 6 أو half. أنا I would prefer to write it as a half لأنه أسهل. Repeat. I will multiply this guy by مين؟ negative 3 مش تنسي بقى. negative 3 times 1 over 6 هيديك بس negative 1 over 2 صح؟ طيب negative 1 over 2 أنا هأدد على مين؟ لا بوزيتيف 1 يوم يديني كام؟ 1 over 2. Repeat. negative 3 أنا بضرب ده في negative 3 يبقى ده يبقى negative 1 أصبح نمبر. negative 1 هيأدد على مين؟ يوم يبقى بكام؟ Repeat. negative 3 times 0 0 plus 0 the result will be بصي على السكند column زي كده انا رايح لمين؟ last column. last column الرقم ده لازم يبقى ايه؟ positive 1. how to force it to be positive 1. هنا مفيش ideas. هنا انت obliged انك تعمل multiplication في الانفرس. مين الانفرس بتاع 10 over 6؟ 6 over 10. تقلبي وتضربي فيه عشان يجيب كام؟ يلا نعمل ده. هبدأ من تحت يبقى ده 0 0. أنا هملتبلاي الرو ده كله في 6 over كام يا جميل؟ ملتبلاي 6 over 10 times 10 over 6 يديلي كام؟ شوف بقى سبحان الله. 6 over 10 times negative 10 over 6 يديلي كام؟ بعدين 6 over 10 أنا بضرب في negative 1 over 3 يقوم ال 3 تروح مع ال 6 يديلك 2 صح؟ و 2 over 10 اوكي اللي هي 0.2 والساين بالنيجاتيف يبقى ده ماينس 0.2. ريبيت وانس مور. هضرب بقى 6 over 10 في 1 يقوم يديلك 0.6. تشيك كده البروبلم اللي واحنا بنعمل دي كانت اخر النمبرز دول كانوا بصي ده كان نيجاتيف 10 over 10 يبقى بيديلك نيجاتيف 1. ده نيجاتيف 2 over 10 هيديلك ماينس 0.2. ده 6 over 10 اللي هو بيديلك 0.6. يبقى نفس الستبس. طيب بس انا مش خلصت. انا عايز بقى تو erase تو eliminate. مين اللي عامل له elimination؟ ده. عايزه يبقى هنا بكام؟ طب ازاي اخليه زيرو؟ اروح على البيفوت. اعمل مالتيبليكيشن في نفس النمبر بس with نيجاتيف ساين. يبقى انا هملتبلاي هنا في مين؟ نيجاتيف 5 over 6. نيجاتيف 5 over 6 بلس 5 over 6 ده هيديلك زيرو. طبعا الماتريكس دي كلها كامله. بس قبل ما تنسي انا هعمل ده تايمز نيجاتيف 5 over 6 يبقى ده 5 over 6. 5 over 6 بلس 1 over 6 يديلك كام؟ 1 ولا غلط؟ تمام كرري. انا هعمل تاني مالتيبليكيشن في نيجاتيف 5 over 6 يبقى ده نيجاتيف 5 over 6. الماينس 0.2 دي هي عباره عن ماينس 2 over 10. I'm sorry over 6. ماشي؟ طبعا على طول هقدر اشيل ال 5 مع دي يفضل هنا كام؟ ويبقى اذا الاثنين دول عملوا ايه في بعض؟ ويفضل عندي ماينس 0.6 مثلا. يبقى اذا هبدا اكمل بقى بقيه النمبرز زي كونتينيو يعني. اوكي؟ طبعا الرقم اللي انا جبته هنا اللي هو ماينس 1.6 انا هادد على 1 ثيرد. اوكي؟ هيروح مديلك 0.5. يعني انا بضرب ده كله بضربه في نيجاتيف 5 over 6 واللي هيطلع هقاد على مين؟ على 1 over 3. انت معايا ولا توتي؟ طيب تكرري كمان مره. هملتبلاي بنيجاتيف 5 over 6 واللي هيطلع هقادد على 0. لما اعمل كده هيروح مديني الرقم اللي في الاخر ماينس 0.5 I think. اوكي؟ سيم واي لايك هروح برضو عايز النمبر ده يبقى بكام؟ بس هو بكام؟ يبقى هعمل مالتيبليكيشن هنا في مين؟ نيجاتيف هاف وهاف. خلاص انا ظبطت ده. نيجاتيف هاف تايمز نيجاتيف 1 is gonna be بوزيتيف هاف. بوزيتيف هاف وبوزيتيف هاف هيديك الرقم ده بكام؟ هبص كده 10 over 10 يساوي بوزيتيف 10 over 10 يساوي بوزيتيف 1. نيجاتيف 10 over 10 هيديلك نيجاتيف 1. وانس ان انا هكمبليت ده هيديلك الرقم اللي هيطلع لك هنا هيطلع لك برضه ب 1، والرقم اللي هيجي هنا هيديلك ماينس 0.3. لو انا جيت بصيت هلاقي الانفرس طلع بالظبط زي الماتريكس اللي انا كنت لسه مطلعها من شويه، اللي هو 1 1 نيجاتيف 1 1 0.5 ماينس 0.2 ده ماينس 0.3 ده 0.5 بالنيجاتيف تشيك بقى ده نمبرز انت اكتر مني يبقى احسن. ده 0.6 ما انا جبت الريكيرجن. الفكره مش الاسهل، الفكره I will have to know both ways. خلي بالك ان النمبرز اللي محطوطه دي ممكن لو كنت اخترت اسلوب تاني، يعني لو كنت سمعت كلام سلمى وضربت السكند رو في نيجاتيف وعملت ريبليسمنت يمكن كانت الارقام اسهل. دي بس انا مش عارف لان ما عملتهاش. فاهمين يا شباب؟ اوكي، يبقى اذا انا عارف طريقه الكوفاكتور وعارف مين؟ السيستم. طبعا لو انا كنت جيت في المساله دي في البدايه وقلت لك جيت ذا انفرس اوف ذيس ماتريكس مثلا، وبعدين قلت لك ايه بعد ما انت جبت الانفرس؟ سولف ذا سيستم AX equal B. طبعا ده سهل قوي، واديت لك البي دي اي ماتريكس، اديت لك البي اي حاجه، طبعا سهله لسبب لان انت دلوقتي معاكي مين؟ صح؟ يبقى اذا انا عارف ان AX equal to B. If you multiply this equation by A minus 1, you will have A minus 1 times A times X equal A minus 1 times B. That's X equal to A minus 1 times B. يعني all you have to do is to multiply this matrix بالماتريكس بتاعت البي اللي هو مديها لك. يبقى انت كده solved السيستم. ماشي؟ دي الايديا behind any solution for a system of equations. Any method. أي معنى الفكرة؟ Just take a photo عشان أنا عايز أحل كمان مسألة مهمة.